Do you understand the potential penalties for the offense that you're charged with?
Yes.
Okay. Given that you understand the charge and its penalties, I will now ask you to that charge then in count 1 of first-degree intentional homicide. What is your plea?
No contest.
No contest.
Do you understand that by pleading no contest, you are effectively acknowledging that the state has sufficient evidence to prove at trial, beyond a reasonable doubt, that you are guilty of the offense charged?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you further understand that for practical purposes, if I accept your no contest plea, you will ultimately be found guilty of the offense charged?
Sí.
Yes.
Before I accept your plea, I need to ask you some more questions. If you have any trouble understanding, please take all the time you need to talk to your attorney. And as we've agreed earlier today, if there's any problems hearing or understanding the interpretation, just raise your hand. Has anybody made any threats or promises to you at all in order to get you to enter your plea of no contest today?
No.
Do you feel in any way as though you are under duress or being coerced by anybody to enter this plea?
No, no tanto. So.
No, not so much. So.
Well, I need to understand what you mean by not so much or so.
I go off record, Your Honor.
¿Puedo salir del acta socialaria?
Sure.
Okay.
We can go back on the record, Your Honor.
I'll ask again, Mr. Gonzalez, do you feel as though you are being coerced or that you are under duress in any way in entering this plea?
No.
Do you understand that if I accept your plea and you are found guilty, at sentencing, the parties will make recommendations? But ultimately, I don't have to accept either party's recommendation, and I could sentence you up to the maximum possible penalty for this offense that you are pleading no contest to.
Would you repeat that for me,
Sure.
please?
Sure. If I accept your plea and you are found guilty, we'll proceed to a sentencing hearing. At that sentencing hearing, the parties will each get to present arguments and make recommendations about what sentence you should receive. Ultimately, though, I am free to ignore or disregard or not follow the party's recommendations. And I could, if I thought it was appropriate, sentence you up to the maximum possible penalty for this offense that you are pleading guilty to. Do you understand that that is a possibility?
¿Entiende usted que eso es una posibilidad?
Sí.
Yes.
The law requires me to inform every defendant in every case
En todos casos
of the following.
de lo siguiente.
If you're not a United States citizen,
Ciudadano de los Estados
a
Unidos,
plea of guilty
una declaración
or no contest
no me opongo,
could result in deportation,
deportación
exclusion from admission to the country,
al país,
or denial of naturalization under federal law. Do you understand that?
¿Entiende usted eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Today you are pleading guilty to a felony,
Declarando culpable a un
and that carries with it certain consequences
ciertas consecuencias.
that I need to make sure that you're aware of.
Repasar con usted para
The first is that you will no longer be able to vote
de estos. Primero es que usted ya no
unless and until your voting rights are restored.
hayan restaurado.
The second is that you'll no longer be able to legally possess a firearm.
Poder tener en su
And if you do possess a firearm,
si tenga
you could face penalties of up to
fuego, puede enfrentar posibles castigos
10 years imprisonment,
10
a
años,
$25,000 fine,
$5,000
or
de
both if you do.
ambas. Si es que lo
Do you understand those consequences?
¿Entiende usted estas posibles consecuencias? Yes.
Today you are also pleading guilty to what the statutes have defined as
Estatutos
a violent felony.
como una ofensa, un delito grave
Do you understand that by pleading guilty to a violent felony,
a una ofensa
you will no longer be able to possess body armor?
no va a poder
That means any garment designed or adapted to prevent bullets from penetrating through.
ir que balas
And if you do possess body armor, you could face penalties of up to 15 years imprisonment, a $50,000 fine, or both.
o ambas cosas.
Do you understand?
¿Entiende usted eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Your attorney has filed this plea questionnaire waiver of rights form with the court.
Con la corte.
It is 4 pages long.
De 4 páginas.
It appears to be filled out
Parece haber sido
by hand,
a mano.
and on the last page, it is signed,
Última página.
apparently, by both you and your attorney.
Usted y su abogado.
Attached to the plea questionnaire
Cuestionario
is
está
what's called a jury instruction
que es
for first-degree intentional homicide,
para este cargo
setting
de
forth
homicidio intencional.
more information about the offense and what the state would have to prove
Y lo
at trial.
es que el Estado tendría que comprobar.
Are you familiar with all of these
¿Está
papers?
usted familiarizado con todos estos papeles?
Sí.
Yes.
Is that your signature on the plea questionnaire?
Su firma en el cuestionario ahí.
Sí.
Yes.
Is everything in this plea questionnaire true?
Este cuestionario es verdad.
Sí.
Yes.
Is it true that you are 73 years old,
3 años de edad,
you have no schooling,
no tienes nada de escuela.
Sí.
Yes.
now it says you do understand English.
Usted entiende inglés,
Tell me if this is correct.
dígame si eso es correcto.
You understand English,
Entiende el inglés,
but you benefit
pero usted ha
from the assistance of an
la
interpreter
asistencia del intérprete
in situations
en
where
situaciones
you don't necessarily understand all the
de
terminology
toda la
like a courtroom. Is that correct?
como en una sala de un tribunal.
I
¿Es correcto?
have been understand overall.
I have been understanding overall.
Okay. All right. Now, have you had any alcohol or drugs in the last 24 hours?
24 horas.
No.
No.
Now, it says here you have had medications
Tomado médico.
in the last 24 hours, correct?
24 horas, ¿es correcto?
En la mañana no.
Not this morning.
Okay. But in the last 24 hours,
Últimos 24
it says you've had something called metformin.
algo como que se llama metformin.
Sí.
Yes.
As you sit here today,
Sentado aquí,
is that medication in any way interfering with your ability to think clearly or make good decisions?
pensar claramente y hacer buenas decisiones.
No me afecta.
It does not affect me.
Okay. As you sit here today,
estar sentado aquí,
aside from the medication, is there anything that is interfering with your ability to think clearly or make good decisions?
claramente sobre esto,
Todo está bien.
Everything is clear.
Mr. Gonzalez, I believe based on everything that I've heard and read in this case,
en este caso,
that there is strong proof of guilt and an adequate factual basis
adecuadas,
has been established.
y esto se ha establecido.
Therefore, the court finds that the defendant understands these proceedings,
Que el acusado entiende este proceso,
understands the nature of the charges, understands the penalties he faces,
entiende los castigos que está
and
confrontando
understands his rights,
y entiende los
and that
derechos,
he is waiving those rights,
está renunciando a estos
and he's
derechos,
doing all of this freely,
haciendo esto todo
voluntarily,
voluntario
intelligently, and with full understanding
y
of his
completamente,
options and rights.
entendiendo todos sus
The court
opciones.
finds from the record that has been established that a factual basis exists and a strong proof of guilt exists
Y que existe fuertes pruebas
to support a finding of guilt.
para sostener la declaración.
Therefore, the court approves the defendant's no contest
Aceptar la
plea
declaración